So good morning to all. Good morning. Good morning. Today we are having an expert from SCET college. He has completed his PhD from SCET in wireless communication. He has more than 25 papers in a reputed journal, and he is a specialized in wireless communication as well as AI. So I welcome Dastoor sir from SCET college to deliver his expertise on today's topic.
Good morning all. Yeah, understand. That's fine. You all can have fun. That's the life of fun. Thank you, Professor Dharmesh. First and foremost, heartily thankful to GEC. I am passed out of GEC Surat. So, rather, I completed my masters from GEC Surat. So, I am aware, very well aware. Thanks to the HOD, the concerned faculties and the principal for inviting me back to my alma mater for the same, for delivering a short session. Basically, what I believe is, let a session not be a single way communication. Let it be interactive. Interactive in such a way, you raise your hand, stop me at any extent of time. Don't wait for me to ask, कि भाई कोई doubts है. Generally for this question, no doubts take place, right? So I generally avoid. So, just making you aware with the same. The point is, we are just making a conglomeration and rather an amalgamation of wireless communication with AI. You might be thinking, what AI has to do with wireless communication? It's basically a to and fro communication, transmission, reception done. No, dear ones. AI is basically like an umbrella. What does an umbrella do? Umbrella join all the spokes, giving you the complete inflammation of a structure protecting you. That's AI. You speak out a domain and tell me where AI is not used. So not going somewhere else, I'll be just focusing on wireless communications, intensification. That is, we are going to augment it using the principles of AI. I'll describe. Rather, this would be the flow, starting with the introduction to wireless, obviously mobile communications. The point I would like to note is, I have not included much derivations, much equations, I understand. Fine? So my talk would be on technical domain, some quantitative analysis only, like comparisons. No more derivations, no more substitutions, no more numericals. My prime focus would be to drive you to AI, ML, data science, and then I'll provide you some case studies, physical case studies where you will say, oh wow, abhi AI abhi, and that I will wait for. If time permits, I'll show you some programs in Python, what you would be more attracted to, because as a student of electronics and communication domain, Right? Just theoretical knowledge may not satisfy the requirements. At the end of the day, what is required? Execution of something. That we shall see. I will take sample 4-5 programs, but that will require wireless connectivity Wi-Fi. But in absence, I'll directly show you the results because I'll be demonstrating on Google Colab if you are aware about it. If not, I'll definitely provide you the information. Generally, class, this is my habit. In my sessions, I put certain puzzles to make it interactive. Because many times students say, sir, whatever you are teaching is very dry. Maja nahi aati, chalo maja kare. What is it? Identify. He is everywhere in the heavens and earth. Who is he? Atom. In space there are no atoms. God? See, we cannot compare God. We are referring to helium gas. Have a look now. It's a helium gas. Class, the point is think out of the box. Make yourself channelize something different. Then and only then you are making use of your natural intelligence. So if natural intelligence is not squeezed out properly, artificial intelligence के लिए really बहुत दूर है. Just to draw your attention, we are talking about helium gas. Okay, let's begin now. I think pack up your seat belts. We move on to the introduction to wireless communication. I think you are in 6th semester currently. Okay, so wireless communication you would have not studied because that's the course of 7th semester. But I think AGC, satellite communications, digital communications, you would have gone through it. So just taking that time picture, making your journey from rags to riches, just read the last line. From homogeneous low range network. We are referring to those days of 1G if you remember. 2G, where GSM we were using. In that case, what was the scenario? The network was homogeneous. Homogeneous means a similar configuration is under existence. Similar configuration means from PSTN, that is your landline, the bar at home, you can dial only landline. From a mobile in a region of 2G, you can dial a mobile of 2G only. Right? From a Wi-Fi scenario, you can have in that communication only. There is no linking of communication like from 2G to 3G or 3G to Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi to WiMAX, WiMAX to video. All these concepts were not present. We call this as homogeneous network. That was the beginning of 1G and 2G which dimension. But with the concept of 3G, have a look at it. This is what it was showing in the last diagram. That you are integrating, you are dialing from PSTN to 2G, 2G to 4G, 4G to VoLT, voice over LT. That is called heterogeneous network. And with the heterogeneous network gaining momentum in 4G, just have a look at an animation. What it is showing you? It is showing you that this is a smart car. This smart car is making a movement smartly at this given speed. You can observe it, that is displayed on the display board. In such a way that it directs itself. How? With the usage of sensors. How? Integrating IoT. Transferring the data to the cloud. Cloud analyzing it. Giving the reply back to the processing unit of the car. कि भाई आगे जाना है कि नहीं जाना है. So actually it is difficult in our country because we have rickshawalas pointing out the legs while taking a turn. So in that case AI may also find it somewhat difficult. But whatever. That's a general case. So see, this is something called holistic heterogeneous network. Holistic means everywhere you point out. Any sort of communication between mobile or Zigbee or Arduino or your embedded system or your VLSI processing, At the end, what is required? A communication protocol, a communication network, a computer network. So, when you exchange from unknown source to unknown topology, unknown configuration, making them both integrate, we are referring to holistic heterogeneous network. And obviously, thanks to wireless communication and the inclusion of AI. I have not yet touched AI because the first half of the slides will be of wireless and the remaining 16 slides will be of AI. So I hope you got the point between homogeneous network and heterogeneous. So currently you are in the world of heterogeneity from communication point of view. Here is a brief evolution of wireless communication. Just have a look. AMPS's analog mobile phone services. You might be knowing the big-sized mobiles were placed at a cycle carriers as modulator when they used to move. We are talking about 1970s, that decade to 80s. Then came 2G. Have you seen on your mobile screen sometimes, though you are a subscriber of Reliance Jio, right, where you find 4G or VoLT, generally what we say VoLT, it's not VoLT, please don't use that absurd terms. It's voice over LTE, long-term evolution. It's the standard of 4G. When? Have you seen many times, suppose in a remote area, your VoLT gets converted to E. So now see, here comes what? Thagaai, hamare saath. We are paying for 4G and we are getting the service. E stands for Edge, EDGE, Enhanced Data Rate for GSM Evolution. Okay, it is around 2.5th generation or below 3G. In those areas where connectivity becomes the problem, you land up with E. And then what happens in your browser? It just goes on and on and on around one. And then you reboot. But it's not the problem with your phone, it's the problem of the service provision, which is not maintaining the SNR, signal to noise ratio, and as a result of which your channel capacity to retrieve the information dwindles down and you end up with HE. That's over here, GSM, what I am pointing out. Then definitely came with 3G when we are talking about universal mobile telecommunication system. Actual, you can say, gaining dimension of heterogeneity, digital audio video broadcasting, speeds mending up to Mbps, 10 Mbps. See, that is the dilemma. In our country, suppose you are a 4G subscriber. Have you tested the speed? Using bandwidth analyzer, testers? Kiya hoga na? At night, midnight, you test out around 12 o'clock. You will get 25 Mbps. Then midnight, when subscribers are hardly working, right? Office hours are hardly on. Check out currently. You will hardly end up with 5 Mbps. That also at once upon a time. This speed, what we claim to be getting from 4G, 5, 10, 20. In Japan, this is the speed for 3G data downloading rate. Thagaai, number 2. समझ में आया? जो हम 4G का पे कर रहे हैं 5, 10, 20 Mbps. Japan, China, even South Korea and North Korea like countries, they are claiming it to be 3G. We'll see how many decades we are behind. No doubt we have population explosion. But whatever. That's over here. Then we come to the LTE, WiMAX, Worldwide Operability, Interoperability for Microwave Exchange. That collapsed because of scalability problems and so on. But with 4G, have you seen Modi ji? Obviously you have seen on television screens. I'm talking about the holographic screens during 2019 elections. Do you remember? These holographic screens were projected in a 3-dimensional at different Lok Sabha constituencies, where this physical meet was not possible. That was holographic technology in which LTE advanced was used. Over there we require very high bandwidth constraints because to frame something on something which is not physically. Holograph means what? There is no screen light. In the molecules of atmosphere, you are projecting something. That was basically your LTE advanced. And before you move to 5G, just I read in the newspaper today, you would have also read, India has got 6G. 5G not Tikana, whatever. India and IIT Madras, Bangalore, they have started research on 6G network. What is the claim? 1 Gbps to 5G de dega. Move on to 10 Gbps plus data downloading rate. Latency in microsecond. Latency means delay. Right from generation of the signal to modulation to transmission to your reception. And you say, that's latency. It's the adjective form of something late. Latency. Big came. Have a look. 1985, where? I'm not talking of our country, we are talking to European civilizations. We are far more better with 140 crore population in that case. मुझे नहीं याद रखो. Look at the technology. Look at this word, 1980 McKinsey. We will refer to this great person after 10 slides. Remember this great person. Look at the scenarios. Look at the market of mobile phone penetrations. You might have heard 140 petabytes is the data which is being communicated all over the world in a unit day. Now look at it. Yeah, this is not future because 15S is already available. This clip is slightly of former time. Look at the bands. Have you heard about the battery, mobile battery, liquid mobile battery? You might have heard about it. Now look at the technology where we are moving so that you can fold it. Something, put it like a band. And a transparent mobile. It feels like something you are tasting. You might have heard about it. That's the next generation. Yeah. Here is what I wish to carry further. Look at per decade. We move on to the enhancement of a mobile generation. Look, the point to be noted is the data downloading rate. What we are generally interested in, speed, we are least concerned about technology, we are least concerned about the spectrum, we are least concerned about multiple access, we are least concerned about power utilization, but we want speed, It's not like that. That is what wireless communication, where it is lagging behind. Have a look. 400 kbps to 20 mbps is something claimed. See, this is what I was talking about. What we are getting 10 to 20 mbps. We claim at 4G is claimed as 3G in the actual band requirements. Have a look at 4G. Actually, between 4G and 5G, there is a band of 4G plus, what we call LTE advanced. That band was completely skipped in our country because 4G was launched in later 2016 by Jio, if you are aware, after testing and all such calibration. But in the Western countries, it started with the decade of 2010. And by that time, 4G advanced would have knocked the door. 5G came into existence. Now don't ask me about the speed of 5G because we are not having connectivity in Surat, certain areas of Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. 5G connectivity is provided. If you happen to visit over there, check out. Just look, IP version 6. You might have heard this term, IPv4 and IPv6. maybe in computer networks, data communication. Could you discriminate between IPv4 and IPv6? What it is meant for? Yeah, IP version 6 I am talking about, internet protocol. IPv4 is 32 bits, exactly. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? 32 bits what? किस चीज का? IP address is made up of 32 bits. That is what it wants to say. But what do we infer from it? What is its significance? Its significance is 2 raised to power 32. Would be the IPs available given to your handsets, machines, devices for communication. But that is not sufficient with, you can see 7 billion population plus of the world. So we moved on to IP version 6 with 5G. Having exactly, so 2 to the power 128. Ask your chat GPT or your mobile how much you end up on. 340 trillion. I don't know what is it called. With so many zeros. This is what Google says. 340 trillion. Number of devices that could be connected together. Now you imagine how all this entire configuration would be under adjustment. We require different channelizations. We require different networks. We require different splitting of bands. We require different power consumptions. Is the power consumed by this device projector would be same as that the modes network or sensor network what you are using? No. The Zigbee network what you are using? No. The mobile robotics network what you are using? No. All of these have different requirements. Who controls? Now AI bangs the door. So look at this Li-Fi. You might have heard about Li-Fi, light fidelity, right? What is the idea behind light fidelity? Like wireless fidelity, Wi-Fi, we have light fidelity, Li-Fi. क्या है? Very good, exactly. This sources of lights would comprise of modulators and demodulators. That's a modem. Fine. The best part is what? Terahertz is the frequency. Higher the frequency, better the band, higher the downloading rate. That could be availed. Your special devices would be available. You just put in the vicinity of it. Direct communication via light. So no more problem of congestion. Yeah, obviously line of sight and all these things matters. It's a different thing, but that's Li-Fi. And that's the base of 16. Yes. Just for your information. Just have a look at it. It's a comparative analysis of all generations of mobile. What is interesting is something in bold. Look at the data rate. Look at the latency. A very important point. As I just explained, latency. The delay which takes place. See, as you are moving from 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G, see, complexity of the device increases. The spectrum in which it is working is amended a large. Right? The chromaticity is enhanced, but look at the delay, it is decreasing. That's reverse economics. Just look what 5G came, sub-millimeter. Sub-millimeter means we will be referring to something less than milliseconds in sub-millimeter band of communication. Less than millisecond. And look at the services, digital audio broadcasting, digital video broadcasting. Have you heard this 4G, WWW? 4W, wireless world wide web. Right now you are using wireless web. If directly this web gets connected with a cloud, Samsung, Amazon, it's wireless world wide web. You are changing your mobile. Nowadays we don't need to transfer your contacts. Why? It is already updated in the cloud. So when everything will be cloud oriented, it's this 4 Ws. And that is what the baseband of 5G says. Then see, 4G claims to be FDMA, OFDM, orthogonal frequency, while 5G says power division multiple effort. It's very complicated. Look at the bandwidth I would like to stress upon. If you would have come across maybe a couple of years back in your settings of your mobile when 4G was launched by Jio, you might have checked or directly connected with the 4G network, if not automatically updated. Have you seen what is the carrier frequency what Reliance Jio provides for your 4G network? Have you socha hai? It provides two modes, TDD, time division, duplexing and frequency division. 2100 megahertz or 2.1 gigahertz is TDD mode where your 4G is operating, and 2300 megahertz or 2.3 gigahertz is where your FDD of 4G is operating. Now see, look at the spectrum of 5G. India is working currently on 5 gigahertz. 24 gigahertz China has already worked out. Have you heard? China has mounted 5G stations in 2022 at the foothill of Himalayas in Nepal. What do they claim? A common answer. We are undergoing research. Kapal research. That's direct attack on our country. Navigation, spying. It has already laid at the complete foothills. What 24 gigahertz was already deployed. Now they are working on this around 100 gigahertz. Now imagine how far in the areas of Arunachal Pradesh and all those border regions to Ladakh would be under the radars of China. No doubt we are also progressing equally well. So see this, the point what we want to say is this, it is something like ये room को बड़ा करो, तो ज़्यादा आप आ जाएंगे students. Likewise, you enhance the spectrum. More the spectrum, bandwidth of the spectrum, more would be the bitrate associated. You might have studied in ADC, if you remember, 8 PSK, 16 PSK, 32 PSK, 64 PSK. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? कोई आपको पूछे कि just from 3G to 4G something got converted in the midnight and you got the connectivity of 4G. Same way, after few months, 4G would be converted to 5G. कभी देखा है आपने कोई टावर तोड़ देखा हो? I'm not talking about those people who really bring it down. I'm not referring to that. I'm just referring that suppose I want to transform from 4G to 5G. चलो 4G का तोड़ दो 5G का बनाओ. No, never ever it happens. तो magic क्या होता है? What is the magic that takes place that suddenly after this extent 4G now gets converted to 5G? Oh, everybody is using 5G. क्या? What magic happened? First is this band spectrum changes. Then just what I said, when I say 8 PSK, what is 8? 2 to the power 3. 3 bits are there in one baud. When I say 16, 4 bits are there in one baud. 128, 7, 256, 8. So as you go on increasing the exponential power of 2, that many bits you are encapsulating in a baud. Baud means a signal duration cycle. Obviously data rate will increase. This is the magic which is taking place. Obviously it is not something like you go on and on and on. It's obviously there are certain limitations of devices, channel and so on. But this is one such reason why with software enhancement in the baud rate, we can directly upgrade the data rate. Have you seen sometimes while you are connecting your Wi-Fi in your railway stations? Everybody must have used in indoor community halls or railway stations where government provides free Wi-Fi zones, right? So you would have found sometimes the speed drastically falls down. Sometimes it is very high. What is happening actually? Listen to me very carefully. Near the station area, have you seen the 4G towers? There are so many 4G towers. Now these towers have capacity that during peak hours, they are loaded. Loaded means connectivity ratio is very high. Data downloading or communication or exchange of information is very high. This is the peak time. Under that case, when a base station reaches around 80 to 90% of its utilization, it offloads its traffic to this free zones. Offload means मेरे पास बहुत ज़्यादा आ गया लोड, थोड़ा आप ले लो. This is called offloading. So this free zones of Wi-Fi, like railway stations, now carry the traffic of 4G towers with them. And that is why you find so. This is possible in 4G. This is called offloading. A very important concept to balance the load and traffic. Now who decides? इसको देना है, उसको देना है, कौन से टावर को देना है? AI. Now see, I'm slightly driving you towards it. 5G NR. 5G NR stands for new radio. I don't know whatever name they have given. They have not given rather the name. It is a new radio NR. That's the band given to 5G. And handoff. Have you heard class handoff? See, it is something like you might have played a relay race. The baton, party, what you say, whatever. You carry on with it, right, and pass it on to the next one who will be running after you. Right? Same thing, this is called handoff in wireless communication. Suppose you are moving from Gujarat circle to Maharashtra circle, right? As soon as Bolward or something comes, you start getting the messages in your train. Welcome to Mumbai, BPL, welcome to this thing, that thing, right? This is called handoff. You are given the connectivity of the next cell without losing the connectivity of the former cell. That is called handoff. This is what we are talking about. And the last one is something very crucial. Look at the UE stands for user equipment. ये mobile जो आपका है, when you are dialing, communicating, how much power it is utilizing. That is given in the last. Look at it. Complexity is increasing like anything, but look at the delay. Look at the output power. They are not increasing like anything. This is the wonder of wireless communication. चलो एक और. Vertical handoff means basically when we are talking about heterogeneous network. Heterogeneous network says that from 2G you may go to 3G, 3G you may go to Wi-Fi, from Wi-Fi you may go to 4G. So when you are going through different zones of different topology, the handoff we call it as vertical. But it is same. Suppose from 2G circle you are going to 2G circle. It is called horizontal handoff. A very important puzzle was asked. This is a chessboard 8x8. Everybody would have seen it. The question is, there are 8 queens. I hope everybody knows how a queen moves in a chess game. Horizontally, vertically and diagonally. Right? So you have to place 8 queens in this different squares in such a way no queen counters any other queen. समझ में आया? For example, if I put first queen over here, okay, on the first cell, I cannot put second queen in this first row, first column, first diagonal. कर पाओगे? ट्राई करिए. नहीं लिखकर something, if you will write it out, then you will be able to get it. Why I am putting the example? Again, I will drive you. If your IQ is good, your mathematics is good, it's a matter of 5 minutes. Happy to know that people are more interested in such puzzles rather than lectures. So my estimation was correct that we should put some clippings. Yes, anybody? After satisfying all the requirements. आपको आता था पहले से वो अलग बात है. If you have done, show me. That is obvious because it is an AI game. Kunjal Sahib is master in AI. I'll just blend it. Show me. You're done? Seems to be okay, but in line बाकी किसी में नहीं है, it's difficult to visualize. Symmetric curves, so that you will be able to understand. You have drawn some rough lines, maybe. Okay, anyways, it is not for passing the time, just to gloom you up. Don't think otherwise. Chalo, let's go ahead. If you finish it, you may show me later on. It's okay. Yeah. Now moving on to our actual technology. Have a look at the figure. Just have a look. I don't want to claim big zones behind it. MIMO stands for multi-input, multi-output. Have you heard or probably you have seen? Nowadays, the optical routers are available with 2 antennas. Have you seen? Just to enhance the coverage. The idea is same. You increase the number of antennas, you create the zones, enhance the coverage, enhance the capacity. So when you increase the number of antennas, what is being claimed in 5G? Have you looked at the research of IIT Madras? That suppose we want to deploy 5G in Atwa Lines area, right, where our GEC, all colleges are there. How we will take care of the antennas? These antennas will be like a phasor arrays. They will be placed on each light pole. Whatever light poles you are having in the Chopati area or all these areas, all this bunch of antennas will be mounted in such a way that the beams which are being produced from them is tremendous. What is the reason? 5G gives you very high speed, but speed is at the cost of coverage. मतलब क्या हुआ? Higher the frequency, lesser is the distance of communication. Right? Higher the frequency, lesser is the distance what a signal can cover. Because if any obstruction comes, if an ion even comes in between, signal is lost. So this is the reason if you deploy large number of antennas, then one antenna will hand over the other. But obviously there are some issues related with maybe healthcare and so on. That is a matter not to be discussed currently. So just have a visualization. See this. The central base station. Look at the bullet train. Look at the bus. Look at the small zones. This whole cell, which is divided into small cells, are called micro zones. And the big cell is the macro cell. Like Surat, if you consider as a macro cell. How do we divide Aqua zone, Ranel zone, Piplot zone? Likewise, these are what? All micro zones. These micro zones are having this deployment on large scale of this antennas. It's not that easy. कैसे रख दिया चलो चलो हो गया. No, they should not interfere with each other. Their main beam should have front to noise ratio. All of them should be excited with a different phasor array. All of them should be mandated with signal to noise ratio. Receiver should be able to obtain the phase from it. It's not that easy. Who comes into existence? Yeah. Now before I ask you answer, look at it. A small cell network. A pedestrian is on move. A vehicle is moving. So when a vehicle moves and the vehicle is using the coverage at a very high speed, the antenna will also require to move its beam. तभी तो coverage मिलेगा ना. This control is also done by some smart entity. This is what is shown over here. Just have a look. There is a 5G tower. You can see the cloud on the top of 5G tower. That is what I said. A cloud connectivity. So that everything works via cloud. Whatever you are programming also gets stored at the cloud. So that you can access anywhere like Google Colab. It is being programmed at the server side. Once you have already programmed in that Google Collaboratory, you can access from anywhere. I'll show you in a while. Look at a street light. As I said, street light is just acting as a channeling unit to transmit the signal from the main base station to the different household premises. This is just a short animation what is being shown. That everywhere the main base station cannot reach. It's like a relay center that takes the message from the main base station and then diverts it to the requisite users. This is what is shown over here. Just look at it. CATL is basically a Chinese firm who contributes for lithium-ion battery, a large market, one of the largest markets, I can say like that. Look what is happening inside. Look at the robots, how they are mending, assembling, moving, going for quality testing. You might have had this fascination with virtual reality classes, right? In Valentine they usually provide. I had also been, that's why I'm saying. Have you ever visualized what is actually happening inside it? कभी सोचा है चलो वो पैंट का लिए मजा आया वो शूट कर दिया something. What is actually happening? Not only just actually happening, it is broadcasted. And how it is broadcasted? Spontaneous broadcast. A match which is played in Australia is broadcasted via live broadcasting after 6 minutes in our country, because it takes this much processing time via whatever microwave to satellite to landline to demodulation to decoding to finally available at your television screens. But with 5G, we claim that spontaneous transmission and reception would happen. There is a Unity software. If you might, Unity 3D software is available. Obviously, it's a licensed software. I think some mobile app is also available for AR, VR based applications, which works with this broadband technology. And definitely with the integration of 5G, this is what the magic takes place. It's what we call spontaneity. So I think I have given you enough about wireless communication. Ignition required, that why some central entity should be there in a wireless channel so as to take the control. So we are referring to artificial intelligence. I have deliberately placed this slide because we people think that AI and ML are some bullshit. No, it's not so. You are visualizing me as some sample coming from some college, delivering and going away. Next time if you will meet me, you may ask some questions or say, "Oh, matu kadal nahi pucho." How did you visualize? You observed me. You made some visualization based on it. You made some processing based on it. You are observing this presentation currently. You are observing your environment. What is this? This is your natural intelligence, which makes you feel this is fan, this is presentation, this is a sample, or something which is under learning mode. If you embed this platform, this framework, this smartness to a device and ask chal bhai tu identify that is this presentation, is this a chair, is this a face, is this a criminal? You are working with artificial intelligence. Understood? All of you? Then, next question which comes to our mind. How did you realize me after so many years that I came once to the college? How did you recall in your memory while writing your exam paper? How do you recall कि आप थक गए? Some processing is going on in your mind using what? Your biological neurons, your brain, your frontal lobe of the brain, where some processing is taking place. So when you process, when you squeeze, when you tap, when you analyze, now ask machine, chal bhai tu kar. This is machine learning. Understood the difference between them? So when a processing has occurred to make some application run, a machine learning is under exercise. Then, do you know how many neurons are there in the human body, of a nervous system of a human body? 10 to the power 11. Just put 11, 12 zeros after 1. And 10 to the power 15 connections are there of one neuron to that of the entire network. This is the reason within fraction of microseconds we identify, oh, this is my class, this is the memory. Now same thing you embed in a network. What we call a big data, massive data nowadays, you might be hearing about it, right? In a database of lakhs of criminals, you feed it to the system and system will say, oh, ye criminal hai. So sapna thodi aaya. It has analyzed through intermingling of neurons with a deep layering of a network where so many neurons combined in different layers. We call deep learning. Like you say, मैं deeply सोच रहा हूँ. That's a deep learning. So at this moment, I can just give you the glimpse of it. For details, I am having shortage of time. I have been given just 1 hour. So by 12:15, I have to wind up. Fine. So this is what an overview I can give you. That now, if you model this network in terms of mathematics, you can make this machine work. How this mobile identifies your face, your fingerprint, gives you access. How your Alexa works, how your chat GPT works. Anybody knows what is the full form of GPT? Chalo, good question. Everybody would have used it. I have also used it. Once chat GPT was so much, what you can say, troubled with me, it gave me the answer I already explained in the above part. Kindly look. It gave me the answer like that. Because I asked the same thing again and again and again. You try it out. It will give you the similar answer. Maja aata. What does GPT stand for? It's the talk of the town. There is a natural language processing system. Like currently I am bombarding with you. This is wireless, this is wireless, this is mobile, this is mobile, this is generation. Right? So maybe after some time, something will enter in your brain through verbals, through visualization, through programming, through assembling, through everything. So now somebody will ask on this topic, you will be able to answer. So what did I do to you? I pre-trained you. So that now you are capable for writing an exam in such a way that you generate now your own ideas. That's GPT. Generative, pre-trained transformer. Got the point? Finally, you produce your transformed output from knowledge you gain, from some backend. And that's the wonder, so nicely it answers. Anyways, so I'll slightly make you move ahead. You know this gestation period of AI when we got struggling for independence in 1943, 44, 45. AI with these great personalities, Mackenzie, McCulloch and Pitt, they were working with the research. They made a game, what you might be playing in your primary schooling days, that snake game. They already made in 1950s. Why? In 1999, if you remember, 96 to 99, a chess tournament was held between Garry Kasparov and Deep Blue. 6 games were held. 2 games were won by Kasparov, remaining he was defeated by Deep Blue. This was the turning point. Human intelligence could be challenged. See, I am not using the word could be defeated. This is AI. And the snapshot which I showed you of 8-queen puzzle that was solved by AI in less than a minute. These are the great personalities. Why I have used this snapshot is, look at the third person, Claude Shannon. You might have heard his name in digital communication. Shannon's energy band limiting capacity theorem. तो वो वहाँ भी काम करा, इधर भी काम. देखो. In digital communication, it's well-known theorem, Shannon's channel capacity theorem. And now see his contribution in AI. These are the great, you can say, the statutory bodies. Just making you a quick glimpse on types of machine learning. I understand this is not the right time, because without giving you some idea regarding types of AI or ML, it becomes difficult. Just read the 4 parts in green: supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised and reinforced learning. I'll not give you big definitions, I'll just lead you to some animations, because animation is the best way to learn. Okay? Just remember this 4. See this. What is this person doing? That's a transparent screen. A person is training a bot regarding some gestures. Raise your hand, wave. How Sophia was trained. The humanoid. Have a look at it. So this is training with a supervisor, a teacher. Look at it. You were given red apple. You were taught with red apple of a definite size, but you were taken the test with green apple. Now both are apples, species are different. This is called what? Use of intelligence. I started my slide with William. You remember? For that reason. We are taught in such a way that some things always come in our mind. But if you use out of box, then definitely you gain momentum. That is it. What is this? This is supervised learning only. But testing is done with different mechanisms. It is something like you say, na, out of syllabus पूछे जाए exam marks. Because you are taught something and maybe something asked. But if you are capable, then that is no issue. Have a look. What it is doing? from the different shapes, it is identifying the definite ones. Now have a look. There is a raw data which is made up of dogs and cats. Robo is being taught, ये dog है, उसको category 1 में डाल. This is cat. Put it in category 2. So we are giving a label to all the animals. Dog, cat, dog, cat, dog, cat. Again, what is this? Supervised learning. You are learning in supervision of somebody. Either a person, a teacher, a label. This is what was supervised learning. I told you to remember. Now look over here. Don't go in depth of analysis. Just see there are 3 clusters, something blue, green and yellow. I have deliberately placed it over here. Have you seen one 4G tower at Chowpatty near Sugar and Spice outlet? One at SVNIT, one at the SCET premises. आपको क्या लगता है? अच्छा लगा इसलिए डाल दिया माशाल्लाह, चलो भाई चौपाटी पर डाल देते, सब आएंगे खाने में, टावर थोड़ी खाएंगे. See, it's not like that. When we decide that we need to mount a tower, a detailed analysis of users is being done. For example, just take, here is the number of users with very high density, like a college, like an auditorium, right? So this number of users, if I mimic by this dots, so what I will get? I will get a user distribution in a geographical area. This user distribution are scattered somewhere like this way, somewhere in the north side, somewhere in the southeast side. They are scattered. So scattering of the users create one cluster. That cluster I ask for analysis. That something typical shape of a cluster is considered. Find the centroid of that cluster. Centroid means a midpoint of that cluster. At that point, we mount a base station. This is what it is telling. But now my point, it's not random. कि चलो 4G वालों को इधर अच्छा लगा चलो डाल दिया. No, it's a common sense. You all people are sitting in front of me. So I should not look back and speak. It's the wastage of power. Now who decides? Here comes AI. There is nothing labeled that these are the residents of Surat, these are the residents of Navsari. No. Just distribution of points are there. मान लो कि ये यूजर्स है, मोबाइल है, राइट? तीनों क्लस्टर्स बना दिए मैंने, उपना जोन, अथवा जोन, पिपलोक जोन. Now find out that in this arena looking like a triangle, looking like a hexagon or looking like a circle, ask AI, चल भाई इसका centroid find करो. AI will give you the centroid. You mount the positioning of a tower over there. Now see how AI is made. Have you seen in Mumbai there are certain stadiums like Wankhede Stadium, Brabourne Stadium. Right, when the match is being played, the capacity around 20,000 and so on. In Kolkata and Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, it has more than lakh. That's a different thing. During that time, when the match is being held 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, the number of spectators is very high. और spectators हम जैसे होते मोबाइल मचले बिना तो चैन नहीं आएगा. So just imagine for those 4 to 5 hours, traffic will be enormous. So now here comes the point. If the nearby 4G is used for all those 1,000 to lakh people for continuous 4 hours, tower will fall down in terms of connectivity. What do? We use mobile tower. Mobile tower means those towers which could be mobile. हाथ में लेने पड़ी सका in short, and put it somewhere at different points in your stadium. So that 4G tower is not affected. At the same time, after 4 hours, कुछ काम का नहीं है, लेकर चले जाओ. How you get this idea? This is what we call dimensioning by system, AI. This is unsupervised learning. मैंने कुछ नहीं कहा उसको कि ये यूजर्स है या ये मोबाइल्स है, तू अपने आप फाइंड कर, ये क्लस्टर बना सेंट्रॉइड है उसका और काम कर. Understood? This is unsupervised learning. This is something called dimensioning. How in Amazon you might have heard, or in some regions of forest, we keep the sensors to find out the forest fires, the change in temperature. Now, how do we decide that all should be connected with some central entity? Concern AI, simple, वो अपना सब काम करते हैं. इसको कहाँ रखना है? Have a look. This is the class of classification. When we have only binary classification, for example, I want to target all the criminals. Now, who criminal, that I don't know. Criminals and non-criminals. It is called classification, binary classification. It's something like this. Have a look at it. Now see, you will find something exciting. क्या हो रहा है? गिरकर चढ़ना, चढ़कर गिरना ना करता है, आखिर इसकी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. Remember, this is learning from environment, learning from mistakes. कहते ना ठोकर लगती है तभी उठते हैं. This is reinforcement type learning, right? You correct yourself from the errors. कितनी बार गिरे थे साइकिल से? सिखाना आज. This is reinforcement. You are reinforcing yourself, making the machine do it. पहली बार एरर आया, चलो सुधरो. दूसरी बार एरर आया, वापस सुधरो. Feed it back. एक टाइम ऐसा आएगा where it would be error free. That's it. Got the point? This is called reinforcement based learning. You teach it from the environment. You might have tried in your mobile for facial identification, right? It asks for 5 to 6 iterations. कि mobile सीधा करो, टेढ़ा करो, in the dark environment, in light environment, right? Whenever it recognizes your voice also, it will ask you 4 or 5 iterations. Reason ही यही है कि वो improve करना चाहता है. जब light dim हो तो वो fail नहीं होना चाहिए. Noise हो side में, वो fail नहीं होना चाहिए. That is reinforcement. Yeah, this is one such snippet of ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT, what is the advantage of 5G over 4G? सही आंसर दिया. You might have heard that. I think the third one, say a conflict. When ChatGPT was questioned regarding that movie review, you might have heard that Avengers to water, right? Provide the review. The movie was already released in December 2022. The question was asked to ChatGPT in January or February, currently 2023. What did ChatGPT answer? The movie will be released. It was already released. The user said to ChatGPT, "My movie is already released. You update your data." ChatGPT said, "You update yourself." That was a quarrelsome behavior. आपको क्या लगता है ये ऐसा क्यों किया हो? यूजर भी बड़े चालाक है. ओपन एआई जो है उसका पेरेंट, इट इज ट्राइंग टू इम्बाइब जेस्चर्स इन द बॉट. लड़ाई झगड़ा कौन करता है? जिसमें ह्यूमन क्वालिटीज होती है वही करता है ना. तो अगर चैटबॉट सिर्फ लिखता ही जाएगा विदाउट आंसरिंग, विदाउट डिबेटिंग, विदाउट क्वारलिंग, तो आपको लगेगा कि ये फीलिंग्स नहीं है. देखो ये सब जानबूझ के लिए. What a point. Try it out. Its database from 2022 is not updated, if I am not wrong. Have a look. It's a very good video, animation. Observe very carefully whatever is displayed. Then I'll explain you. Look at the speed of the car, 950 miles per second. Miles it is. See this handover. If you have a look at it, this is not one vehicle. There would be so many vehicles in which we would be using the handset for calling, downloading, even in your train and so on. Look at the tower. Look at this base station. One base station connectivity ends. The next base station is immediately informed within what? Microsecond duration of time, because the speed is so high. Now who determined there are so many base stations? Who determined कि चल भाई 2 base stations 2 connectivity के? That is based on channel estimation. Channel estimation means what? Which channel is superb fine without disturbance, interference, carrying highest SNR should be given the connectivity. अब वो यूजर की स्पीड इतनी ज्यादा है, वो पूछने जाएगा चल भाई चैनल तुम्हारा बताओ क्यों तो he is out. So just imagine our band spectrum should be working so high with so much quick processing of AI that immediately the channel is assigned and call drop does not take place. Just 10 years back, maybe in your school days, if you would be using mobile during your travel, what you would have got? कृपया थोड़ी देर बाद डायल कीजिए, right? But nowadays you hardly get it. How this magic is happening? There is nothing magic. It's simply artificial intelligence, which decides by itself. Currently, if you wish to know what mobile you are using, how many towers are currently giving you the connectivity, download an application LTE Analyzer or LTE 5G NR. It's a free app of Android. I don't know about iOS. It will give you that so many nearby stations are there which is giving you the connectivity. All are giving you the connectivity. From that, only one is of importance to you. Why? Because that is giving you the highest connectivity with highest carrier to noise ratio SNR for your communication channel. The rest are all interferers which interferes with your communication. Now how to reduce this interference? AI knows it. That you are nearest to me, so you should serve. It's a common sense. So who assigns? That's AI. How much spectrum I have to assign to individual? That is decided by AI. How much power is to be radiated? ध्यान से देखो. When it is nearer, there is no sense of producing high power. It's a wastage. But when the user is far off, a large amount of SNR will be required. Now who decides? Again, the smart AI. So see now, spectrum, coverage, capacity, optimization, cost, SNR, energy, all these things, it says AI, I will carry. Now got my point? How AI has intensified wireless communication. Look at this. Do you understand anything? What it is showing you? No. I will explain no issue. If anybody, I am just asking. Look at the pink colored coverage area. It is written, look, less than 1 square mile. Now look at it, hundreds of square miles. What it is showing you? When you are increasing your frequency from megahertz to gigahertz, your size is decreasing with less than 1 mile. Size of what? Your cell. Geographical area of connectivity is called a cell. Now who controls all the cells? Hundreds of cells with so much area. That's AI. Who decides how many towers would be required? Obviously there are processing algorithms which are help of artificial intelligence. Summary जो थी वो मजा आया ना. I also used to think like that because that is the end of presentation. Just have a glimpse of the keywords what I have written. Network optimization. It's very important in today's world. By network optimization we mean increase the coverage, increase the capacity, reduce the cost. Just as I explained, AI plays a very vital role. Spectrum management. Spectrum management means what? Have you heard that in certain areas of Mumbai, your electricity bill is now governed by ZigBee. That is, ZigBee units are mounted on your, digital energy meters. Now, no person from electricity comes and scans and gives you the bill. Direct ZigBee monitors the reading and sends to the electric substation. In that case, do you require Gbps of speed? Because after 1 month it has to transmit. Very less speed is required. If some sensors are to be connected with each other for communication, very less speed is required. Very less energy is required. But for downloading, now you will say 5G is must. Who decides what to give when? This is your second point, spectrum management. Third one, resource allocation, I already discussed. Signal processing, this is also very important. Channel estimation, I already told you. Encoding, decoding, and security. Nowadays, even malwares are being detected with artificial intelligence. We transmit the malwares along with the communication signals. I'm talking about the viruses, not threats. Even artificial intelligence can determine that this email or this attachment carries a malware if it is trained properly. That's security. Beamforming, I told you when base station is handing over one beam to the another beam, how wonderful it does the job. These are some of the references. Do we have 5 minutes? So I'll take to the Google Colab. I think you would be interested in see all of you. This is online editor. If you are not aware, just go to Google and write Google Colab or just write Colab, C-O-L-A-B. This is an online editor in which Python script could be written. Python is a very wonderful script because ready-made libraries are available at large instances. And you can write the script with those libraries and you can run it individually, the cells. Now there is no connectivity of Wi-Fi, so I cannot currently show you the online mode of working. Currently what you are observing are hex. Chalo sir, that's okay. I'll just show them the output. That's okay. This is basically the Colab program generating the hexagonal clusters in wireless communication. When you start your WCOM in 7th sem, maybe this would be your first experiment. See this. Just I'll scroll down. See this. This is the hexagonal cell. This is the cluster of such clusters. More than one. And now see. This is the centroid which gives you the points for mounting of your base station. This is a symmetric one. Obviously in reality it won't be so, it is just simulation purpose for that. We have used multilinear perceptron training model of machine learning for it. Look at this. This is your channel estimation, what I used to tell you every now and then. That which channel is good, that correspondingly I can transmit. So look over here. This is your transmitted signal and this is your received signal. If your received signal is not in alignment or linear with the transmission one, that channel is not assigned for that instant. Currently, I am not in a position to explain it because it's a complex process. This is somewhat simpler. Support vector machine based signal detection in wireless communication. Support vector machine is another machine learning classifier. What it is doing over here in this program, a signal is associated with a noise, and that noisy signal is available at the receiver. So from noisy signal, my machine learning algorithm is retrieving information back and removing the noise. This is what it is doing. See, this is the original signal with the mixed part. And see this. This is the mixed signal, and the orange colored one is the retrieved signal from it. This is also a very good example. AI based MLC classifier. When information is transmitted, it is transmitted through many channels. So how at the receiver side different channels are decoding it. See, this is the transmitter and the received signal from 4 different channels. It's a multiplexing. You might have studied time division multiplexing frequency. So it's a sort of multiplexing what we observed it. This is basically modulation and demodulation. You might have studied ASK, FSK, PSK. What is your goal? To retrieve the original bits back at the receiver side. Fine. So these are my transmitter bits. See this 0.4, 0.07, and this is my demodulated bits. More or less, they are retrievable using obviously machine learning applications. This is the one which is very interesting one. What is this doing? You are, see, during COVID period, everybody would be amazed to find out what is the future of COVID, right? So many predictions were being made that 2021 it will lie, some said till 2022 it will lie. How your machine learning algorithms predict? There are the libraries like Facebook, FB Prophet, Facebook Prophet, LSTM. These are the libraries with which you teach, and ML will give you the answer that what will be the future of something. Like over here what you are observing, that given the current signal format, what will be the future signal that would be extracted after certain duration of time in this environment. This is what is showing. One is the actual one and one is the retrieved algorithmic based signal. This is our machine learning. Just last slide, dedicated to GEC. Dedicated to GEC students. मंजिलें किसे मिलती है? मंजिलें उन्हें मिलती है जिनके सपनों में जान होती है. मंजिलें उन्हें मिलती है जिनके सपनों में जान होती है. सिर्फ पंखों से कुछ नहीं होता दोस्तों, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है. If any queries that have completed on time.
Sir, we are very thankful to you for giving your precious time, and students have gone through very informative sessions. So all of you will be having few topics covered from your next and syllabus. Okay, wireless communication. You will be remember Dastoor sir whenever you are learning those topics. Okay, and sir, you will again call me back for the more session.
Anytime. My
We are thanking you on behalf of our college.
It's my pleasure to contribute something to my alma mater.
We are thanking you.
If anything,
If anyone wants to ask any question,
if anything is there in your mind, that I already said before, that's okay. I'll assume everything is understood. That's fine. If anything, I have my contact number and my email ID. You may ping me anytime. That's okay. Via your sir or directly. I'll be happy to answer you. Okay, thank you one and all.